Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are Group 6 from G9A, and today we will comparing and contrasting 5 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals developed and developing countries.
Each country has different targets they need to achieve because of factors such as the country's economy, geographical position, and more. In this case, we will be dividing the countries into two categories, developed and developing countries.
Developed country is a sovereign state that has a high quality of life, developed economy, and advanced technological infrastructure relative to other less industrialized nations. Whilst a developing country, according to the UN, exhibits the lowest indicators of socio-economic development with low Human Development Index ratings.
For today's occasion, Group 6 has choose to compare Japan and Indonesia SDGs. We will focusing on 5 sustainable development goals: no poverty, good health, quality education, gender equality, and climate action.
Poverty is an occurring problem in developing countries. Poverty is actually a main factor in how a country is classified as developed or undeveloped. Surprisingly, both countries, Japan and Indonesia, have poverty, though one not as worse as the other. Japan has overcome poverty as a nation by arranging government projects that include livelihood support, improved nutrition, and early childhood development, inclusive education, legal services, basic health and sanitation services, and more. Even though Japan remains a wealthy developed nation, poverty is festering among the young. According to UNICEF, Japan is ranked 34th out of 41 industrialized countries. Japan's health ministry statistics also shows as of May 2017, 16% of Japanese children live below the poverty line. In Indonesia, 9.8% of the population lived below the national poverty line in 2020. Poverty is a big problem in Indonesia because first, Indonesia has significantly low farm productivity because of the use of outdated technology and a lack of progress in new crop development. And second, Indonesia cannot immediately accept more imports if there is a shortage of food supplies. These are the main causes of poverty in Indonesia. Despite the fact that Indonesia is struggling with poverty, the country is making enormous progress in poverty reduction, cutting the poverty rate by more than half since 1999 to just under 10% in 2020. In conclusion, Indonesia still has a poverty problem. The government has taken action and should continue to plan more projects to solve poverty.
Is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Health of a country's population plays a great role for the country's development. For example, the country's economy. It is proven that healthier people are more economically productive. Better health leads to an increase in saving rates, because healthier people expect to live longer and are naturally more concerned with their future financial needs. With that being said, how are our two countries doing? Indonesia ranks 10th overall in the youth well-being, performing in the middle of its regional peers. Indonesia's health ranking is driven by the low rate of youth suicide, placing Indonesia 6th among the index countries on this indicator. Indonesia's health system, though not free, is paid by taxes and etc. Indonesia is well on road on achieving universal healthcare. On the other hand, Japan performs well in some measures of well-being in the Better Life Index. Japan ranks at the top in personal security. It ranks above the OECD average in income and wealth, education and skills, jobs and earnings, housing, personal security, and environmental quality. It even ranks first in the healthy life expectancy among OECD countries. On average, Japanese people can live up to 75 years, compared to the OECD average of 71 years. Primarily, the Japanese diet is rich in minimally processed fresh and seasonal foods. It contains a very small amount of added sugars and fats. It also promotes a big chunk of seafood, fruits, and vegetables, so it's out of the question that Japanese people don't have good health. Culture and our surrounding also plays a very big role in our diet. Indonesia may have a disadvantage because of its eating cultures, but that shouldn't stop the country from targeting to have a healthy and sustainable diet.
Quality education. Education is essential to the success of every one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It is a powerful agent of change. It improves health and livelihoods, contributes to social stability, and drives long-term economic growth. Indonesia education system is currently progressing fast. Children in Indonesia stand a better chance of being in school than ever before. Yet, around 4.4 million children aged 7 until 18 are still out of school. Children who have disabilities living in underdeveloped parts and children who are in poverty have the highest rate of school exclusion. As for our developed country, Japan, 100% of Japanese complete at least upper secondary education. Compared to the OECD average 76.3% and 47% of adults in Japan have tertiary education 2012. Japanese education is high even by world standards. It's also considered as one of the best education system. Japan continue to maintain it by creating programs such as ACCU.
Good equality and diversity practices make sure that the services provided to people are fair and accessible to everyone. They ensure that people are treated as equals, that people get the dignity and respect they deserve, and that their differences are celebrated. Gender equality practices going against gender discrimination, especially women. Gender equality prevents violence against women and girls. It's essential for economic prosperity. Indonesia has made considerable progress toward gender equality over the past decade. With improved rates of literacy, school enrollment, and employment, as well as policies to pave the way for a more gender equitable society. The government has also committed to gender equality by placing specific laws in place and aligning the National Development Agenda with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. At present, the women of Indonesia are also venturing actively into the realm of national development, working as active members of organizations that focus and act on women's issues and concerns. Indonesia even ranks off higher in the gender gap index than Japan, even though it is still a developing country. The Japanese government's attempts in recent years to pass legislation promoting the economic activity of women unfortunately hasn't worked. Japan ranked in a miserable 110 out of 149 in the World Economic Forum's 2018 Gender Gap Index, which benchmarks countries on their progress towards the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Japan supports for female students in choosing science courses, a program that encourages girls to choose science courses and provides activities to help girls understand potential career paths after graduating university. It provides junior high and high school girls with opportunities to exchange opinions and information with women researchers and engineers, including hands-on lessons and visiting lectures.
Climate change. Climate change is affecting every country on every continent. It is disrupting national economies and effective lives, costing people, communities, and countries dearly today and even more tomorrow. Sustainable Development Goal 30 are, urges to take action to combat climate change and its impact. Indonesia is known to be the Earth's second pair of lungs. However, the government has released that until recently. Indonesia is the world's third largest emitter of greenhouse gas. This was caused by deforestation, forest fire, and degradation of peatland. Fixing Indonesia emission problem will be quite a challenge compared to Japan, as Indonesia is still lacking in technology. Japan has relation of low carbon society by creating game-changing technology. As a whole, Japan has low carbon emission rate. Japan government aims to construct a low carbon society. The government of Japan has announced actions for Cool Earth ACE 2.0, an initiative that has committed to increase Japan public and private climate finance to approximately 1.3 trillion in 2020. They also have priority targets such as
We've now compared and contrasted Japan and Indonesia's current progress of sustainable goals. We've also compared their efforts on how to achieve them. In conclusion, many factors such as culture impact on these goals. For example, on SDG 5, gender equality, Indonesia has a better gender index gap than Japan, even though it is still a developing country. Both of these countries are on track to achieve these goals. Though they both have different time frames, it is most likely that Japan will achieve them first, given the state of their economy and etc. But hey, only time will tell. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.